Hello.
Hello. Oh, hello.
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 Hello. Hi.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought we would do another fun anti-haul. If you guys don't know what an anti-haul is, it's the opposite of a haul. So it's where I'm going to be telling you all the things I won't be buying and why. Someone is strimming. Someone is strimming right outside my door. How inconvenient. By the way, do you like my birthday mug? Got my name on it. Got a unicorn. Says, be yourself unless you can be a unicorn. Very good advice. Every time I start filming, someone's strimming, someone is drilling, someone is parked outside my house. It never ends. So first up, and most obviously, is the Tarte Shape Tape Foundation. If you want to know how I feel about all the controversy and that foundation and the release and the shade range and all of that jazz, then I will link it down below so we don't have to be here for another hour ranting about it. But the short version is that Tarte, when they came out with their foundation, they released a pathetic shade range that didn't really cater to anybody. It definitely did not cater to anyone with deeper skin tone than tanned, and it didn't really cater to anyone very fair, and actually most of the people in the middle couldn't really find a decent shade either. I've since seen some reviews for the foundation because it's obviously out now, and obviously lots of people received it in PR and have been reviewing it, and it actually is so frustrating, I guess is the word, because it apparently is a very, very good foundation, the matte foundation. They released a matte and a hydrating, and apparently the matte certainly is a excellent foundation, which just makes it more frustrating that they obviously put a lot of effort and thought and time into perfecting the formula, but then not the shades, which is not fair, because, you know, if you're going to make an amazing foundation, then everyone's going to want it, and not everyone can have it because you haven't worked as hard on your shade range. So that is very, very frustrating. And while I'm sure that for me, because I'm in that light medium range, which is the only people they seem to aim that foundation at, that I could probably find a shade that would at least work for me, it's just so tainted to me now. It's really turned me off. That whole situation with the shade range has turned me off of Tarte as a brand, even if it is the world's best foundation. I mean, I'm not a huge matte foundation fan anyways. You guys probably know if you've watched my channel before, I prefer like a luminous or dewy finish on my foundation, so I'm not a massive like buy at, you know, every matte foundation that comes out kind of girl anyway. But yeah, it does seem to be a very, very good foundation, but I just don't feel good about it. I just really feel like every purchase of that foundation is like telling them it's okay, that we're gonna buy it anyway, even though, you know, you effed up in such a massive way. And I just don't want to support that product or that brand. It's just left a sour taste in my mouth. So next up, another foundation I won't be buying is the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation. So this came out a few weeks ago. It kind of got lost in all the hype around the Tarte Foundation and a few other foundations that came out around the same time. The Dior Foundation, the new one that was very, very nice. I feel like it just kind of got beaten by brands better known for very good foundations. And so it's kind of got lost a little bit. I have looked at the reviews and I did think about purchasing it just for review purposes for this channel, but it just doesn't excite me. It just sounds very blah. It sounds okay. It sounds like it's, you know, a full coverage matte foundation and it's probably fine, but I've never been that impressed by Bobbi Brown's foundation before. This one certainly doesn't seem to be anything special looking at the reviews online. So yeah, just a miss, an easy pass for me. Next up, the Nars Danger Control Eyeshadow Palette. Just nothing about this palette appeals to me. It's a whole palette of like shimmers and all different colours, and for me, if I'm going to buy a palette, and you know, palettes to me say travel with me, take me on holiday, take me away for the weekend, because you've got so much convenience there. I also want my eyeshadow palettes to like make looks, and this eyeshadow palette, because it's all shimmers and it's all different colours, I'm going to have to use lots of other palettes or lots of other shadows to make a look, and it's just too much effort. I am lazy, and I just want to open a palette and be able to chuck all the colours on my eyes without much thought, and them go together and then work and it be easy and in one palette. And this, to me, I just would never buy a palette that I couldn't make several looks just with that palette from, and I don't think you can do that with this. Next up, the Juvia's Place eyeshadow palette. I think it's called Festival, the Festival eyeshadow palette. I don't have any Juvia's Place palettes. That is a mouthful. Yeah, I don't have any of their eyeshadow palettes, but mainly for the same reason that I won't be buying this one, is that they are like terrifying to me. I mean, like I said, I'm lazy, I'm also boring, and I'm like, you know, browns, peaches, corals, smoky eyes, pinks, mauves, that's my bag. The shadows in there, my goodness, I mean, if you are artistic and creative and a makeup artist, you'll probably die for that palette. However, for me, I'm just looking at it, I'm like, where am I going to wear those eyeshadows? Like, to the soft play? I mean, people will call the police, probably. They'll think I've escaped from a loony bin if I rock up with those colours all over my eyes. I mean, not that usually stops me, but yeah, I just don't know where I would wear that. I don't know what I would do with it. It's just too intimidating for me. The Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzers. Now, I really love the fact that they came out with such an exceptional shade range for bronzers, which to me is groundbreaking. I don't know any brand that has released like multiple shades of bronzer for different skin tones before on their first launch. I don't know, I can't tell, please tell me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember any brand doing that before. I think that's amazing that people aren't just looking at foundations now and concealers for having shade ranges, but also bronzers and other products are bound to follow as well, and I think that's a phenomenal step. So amazing, they look gorgeous. However, I have a secret, and that is that I do not own a matte bronzer. I do not own one. I literally only have luminous, glowing, shimmery bronzers. That is like my obsession. So when I saw they were all matte, I was like, oh no, I don't have matte bronzers. They're just not my bag. I want like a bit of luminosity in my bronzer. I just love that. I feel like, you know, sun-kissed look with a bit of luminosity. The one I've got on today is the Charlotte Tilbury from her Bronze and Glow Kit, and this is as matte as I get. It's more like luminous than there's no shimmer. But that is as matte as it gets. So an actual fully matte bronzer, I don't have one. And I don't know if I want one. Next up, the MAC highlight palettes. So if you haven't seen these on Instagram, I think Trend Mood has them, and FYI Beauty, who is like the English Trend Mood. They both have featured this on their pages. So there are two palettes coming out from MAC with 3 highlight pans in them, different shades. They look fine, they look nice, they look okay. MAC's Whisper of Guilt is one of my all-time, if not my all-time favourite highlight. So I'm sure they'll be nice, but I just don't really feel like I need another highlight palette in my life. And if I do, then I want it to serve a different purpose. So whether it has, you know, a bronzing highlight or a highlighting blush, which these look like just 3 highlights in a palette. I just feel like I've got so many highlights. I really don't need another palette full of them at this point, unless there's something really, really special. The Amrezy highlight, I can make room for that. But these, you know, MAC highlights, I've got them, they look fine, they look okay, but I'm just not excited by them. I don't need any more. I definitely don't need a palette full of them. This next one was a little bit of a battle for me, and it still is going on a little bit. So this is the Nars Liquid Blush in the shade Hot Tin Roof? Hot Tin Roof? I think that's right. So this came out with their like spring collection. They brought out Hot Tin Roof, and then they also brought out a like pinky blush and some lip products as well in their like spring release. And the shade of this blush looks gorgeous, but if you haven't seen my review of the previous liquid blush I bought from them in the shade Luster, I just can't get on with this product. I love the shade of that blush, and I might actually purchase the powder shade. I love the finish of the blush. It looks beautiful on, but it's a pain to apply, and it takes everything underneath it off. So as nice as the blush looks, once I put it on, if I put it over my bronzer, then my bronzer will be gone, and it ends up always looking a bit strange because there's like no bronzer here, and it ruins my blend. I've also tried putting bronzer and everything on after it to see if that helps, and I just don't like the way that looks. So it's really a struggle for me with that product. I keep using it because I love how it looks so much. The shade, the finish, everything, I love it. And it was expensive, and I've still got like the whole bottle left. So I tried to use it, but I just haven't found all this time playing around with it a way to make it work for me. Whatever the knack is to putting it on and making it work, I haven't got it. And last but not least, the Too Faced White Peach palette slash collection, I guess. Is there more? I think more is coming. I don't know what I'm talking about. However, the palette, at least, let's focus on that. So I actually, when I first saw that, I wanted that. Much like I wanted a lot of things from their Peaches and Cream collection. However, Too Faced in the UK likes to keep releasing collections exclusively to their London flagship store. Like, what is that? So I cannot purchase this palette. I actually thought about it, it looked really, really nice. I really liked the look of it. I haven't got any Too Faced eyeshadow palettes and I really want to purchase one. So they are online in lots of places. Cult Beauty has them, Debenhams has them, I think House of Fraser. There's lots of places you can get Too Faced in the UK, online and in department stores. But for some reason, they keep making collections like the Peaches and Cream and now like the White Peach collection, only available directly from that London flagship store. I don't live in London, I don't live near London, and am I going to travel to London at like several £100 cost and an entire day out of my time to get an eyeshadow palette that should be available online? No, I am not. So that is it. That is all of the things that I am not going to be hauling this month. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe before you go so I can see you again. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye, 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 bye.